There are a lot of dangerous games out there, but one of the most dangerous is the mobile game. Today we're going to talk about mobile game addiction and how it can negatively affect people's lives. And we'll decide if someone's guilty or not. Stay tuned for our verdicts. What you are listening to is real. The parties involved are not cool. They are actual geeks with a case pending in the court of public opinion. The party's case has been dismissed, and the dispute will be settled here on our podcast. There will be no lawyers. There will be no witness testimony. The judge's decisions are final.
Hello, I'm Judge Ivan.
I'm Judge Jonathan, and this is Geeks on Trial. Today's case, Addicted to Fun.
Hello and welcome to Geeks on Trial. This is the podcast where we settle petty disputes between actual geeks over movies, video games, board games, and more. If you'd like to submit your own geeky case for a future episode, you can email us at geeksontrial@gmail.com. And if you want to help support the show, head on over to patreon.com/geeksontrial. Give us your money, please. I want you.
God bless America, land of the free.
For now.
When you live here, you can't leave here, so you might as well deal with it.
Conform, please.
One of us. Welcome to the new regime.
Welcome to the
here
new
on
regime.
Geeks on Trial. We are going to be members of the Supreme Court soon.
Right.
We're getting those deals signed right now behind closed doors.
Because apparently right now you can just kind of walk in and just, here you go, have a job. Here you go, have a job.
That's one of the perks of the new era that we're entering, and you can look forward to some decisions that we're going to be making soon.
Right.
Mostly we're going to be consulted on stuff that has to do with movies or video games.
Right, which in this new regime of America, this is going to be the most important thing of America. Yeah. Our Father and Son and the Holy Ghost of AMC will be in charge of all media. And we'll be okay with that, yes.
Yeah. I hope that AMC runs for president. I think she's got a shot in 4 years. I think she has a good following.
That's funny.
I can't wait to join AOC A-list.
You'll get a text every day up until the election asking you for more money because, apparently she needs more money for your votes and she wants to see you out there.
It's expensive to get those votes. Believe me, I tried.
Well, you know why it's so expensive? Those texts. You can't just send texts to every single person in America for free.
That's true.
So all the money they're asking via your text message is just paying for that text message.
Yeah, AT&T caps me at like 20 texts a day. So
right. Yeah. And you don't even and you're on Verizon. So that's weird. Yeah.
Well, no, they do not like me. I pissed them off.
Well, because that's how many people you keep texting AT&T, like the corporation. They're like, how did you get this number? New phone, who dis? What's going on?
Internet. You can just Google it.
Huh.
Yeah, they don't realize that. It's just on their website.
It's just on their
I'm constantly like, hey, I got an idea. What if a phone, but edible? Stuff like that.
Did you ever, I'm sorry, what was that?
Ideas I have like that, yeah.
Have you ever tried to text somebody's landline phone? I've done that before. Nothing happens.
On purpose?
Nothing happens. I don't
know what would you think would happen. You think that their phone's going to ring and a robot's going to read your text to them?
Yeah, that's what I would want. That's what should happen with all this AI that's in the world today. They should just read my text.
The tech we need to be working on.
Text
to landline.
Screw everything that's happened here in this great country of ours. Let's worry about text to voice via home phones.
People are probably here to escape their troubles, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To take their mind off of the real issues in the world.
Yeah.
The things that are happening right at our front door. Yeah. Our boys in blue.
Boys in blue? Is that a pie?
The
boys in blue pie.
Our boys overseas. Mm-hmm. Our boys in red, of course.
What about our women?
Yeah, we don't want to think about them either.
Oh. No, I celebrate women.
Nobody who wants to think about women is watching this show, I guarantee you.
Well, no, they think about them very often and very vigorously, but just not, in a kind way.
Well, I promise you we are not going to talk about women today at all.
At all?
Well, maybe a little.
What about your stepdaughter? Your stepsister?
I don't know. I don't know where you're going, and you made it real weird.
Yeah, I did.
And real sexy for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we're gonna jump right into a case today.
Right into a case, because the news is sad and we want to move on.
And when I say
So,
jump right into, I mean after 5 minutes of bullshit.
well, we are slow jumpers. I don't know if you've ever seen us jump in real life. It's very slow, very
It's like a cold
painful.
swimming pool. You can't. You don't want to get it over with like a Band-Aid. You go in
Right.
1 inch at a time.
Right. You stick your toe in and you wiggle it around a little bit, and then you put the
Till
rest of the
all
foot in.
5 inches are in there.
Yep, all 5 inches. Your toes are how long?
I got long ass toes,
Oh, that explains your nickname. Long toe.
baby. Long toe, right?
Yeah.
For anyone wondering, that's my nickname.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's time to talk about a case. We've got one for you this week.
Oh, where's it from?
That's our job as judges, is to figure it out. It comes to us from the internet. You can find a link if you're curious in our episode description, the show notes there down below. Our defendant today is Steve. Now, here's the thing about Steve.
Mm-hmm.
At one point in the recent past, Steve was a player of a mobile video game called Home Escapes. For the uninitiated, this is a free-to-play mobile game, kind of a match-3 puzzle game with a storyline, but mostly in the vein of a Bejeweled type of a game. Now, Steve stopped playing when he could no longer afford to. For a period of time, he was spending around $50 a week on this game, and he just stopped and lost interest after a while. Okay. Cut to a period of time later. Steve's friend Joe has lost his job and needs a place to crash for a few days. Ends up being on Steve's couch. Turns out Joe had been missing work because of all the time he spent playing the same game, Homescapes, which it turns out Steve had recommended to him a few months earlier. Soon, a few days at Steve's turns into a few months, and Joe is continuing to spend money on Homescapes every single week, hanging out on Steve's couch, not working. Steve's family, which he has one of, think that Joe is legitimately addicted to this game, and now Steve has to consider kicking Joe out, but he also feels guilty because he's the one who recommended the game in the first place. As dual judges here on Geeks on Trial, it's now our job to determine whether Steve is responsible for Joe's predicament or if he should kick this wasteful freeloader to the curb.
Ooh, that's good. That's good story case here. Have you ever played?
It's complicated.
Yeah, it is complicated.
one.
There's a lot of things. There's
There's a lot going on.
There's
a
couch
winding
surfing.
road.
There's
A
free to play
winding
games
road.
that they're paying for. Today's show is not sponsored by game in question, which I forgot the title of already.
Yeah, it's called Homescapes.
Homescapes. Now, what kind of game do you
Rolls
think
right off the
Homescapes would be? Because in my brain, it would be like a Sims, like a home decorating thing. Like you're scaping your home. You're making a nice topiary out of your homerary.
Okay.
You're scaping. You're cutting. You're scaping. Maybe making
Yes.
soundscapes out of your home.
Yes.
But it seems like it's just one of those clickbaity kind of games that get you. By I mean people of a certain age tend to play this kind of game and get addicted to.
Older people.
The elderly, the bejeweled kind of people.
Well, I can tell you that
Farmville.
Homescapes is the sequel to a game called Gardenscapes.
Hmm.
That was the predecessor.
Okay.
I assume that maybe at some point they might do Manscapes.
Mm-hmm. Which might be a sponsor of a podcast someday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had never heard of this game before today.
I have.
Okay. I know you're a big player. Oh, you
I'm
couldn't
a
remember the name of
big
it 1
player.
minute ago.
Well, I remember. Okay, I remember the art of it because the title of this game is nonsensical, but the art of it. When I looked up the art after we got our case files, I looked it up. I did some studying, and I remember this as being advertised in a lot of things that I play because I do play. There are some free to play games that I do enjoy on my phone, or sometimes I'll download a Tetris game on my phone and it's riddled with ads, and then after about 12 hours of playing it over like a span of a couple of weeks, I'm sick of it and just delete it. But a lot of these ads that come out are kind of for games like this, where it's like, by ad I mean for about a minute and a half, a full cut thing of this game comes up and you have to play it to get rid of it, basically.
Yeah, those are pretty annoying.
Yeah, they are, and actually that's why I don't play a lot of like cell phone games. A big one now that's advertised to me quite often is called like Monopoly Go. I don't know if you've heard of this BS, but it's like
Mm.
it's a transactional microtransaction Monopoly kind of play with your friends game that I've never actually played, but it's always advertised to me in like either YouTube videos or it's every fourth thing on a TikTok or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, the classic ad you always see
the
is right is
classists.
the classist ad is like there's a guy in a little it's like a 2D thing, and there's a guy and there's lava coming down, and it's like move the stick to block the lava and make the gold fall, and
Oh
then
no! Yeah.
if you download the game, which I never have, but I hear tell. These ads have no bearing whatsoever on what the game actually is. They're just
So
made up.
not necessarily that game, but a few times I'll be like, "Oh, this looks like a good time waster game," and I'll download it. You're right. Not even the same game. Not even like there was one where it's like you know the games we used to play as a kid in like waiting rooms and stuff. It's like, oh, move this car to get this car out. Move this car. Like
You have to tile
movement
arrangement to get a thing out of the exit. Yeah.
So they kind of had a game like that was advertised, and it's like, oh, cool. This could be something that you're, while you're standing in line at the grocery store or something. But then it's like, oh, this is some 3D like different game that you're playing, and I'm like, this is not what I downloaded. There should be some like laws against this. It's kind of like a bait and switch kind of thing.
I think they call it false advertising. I think.
Oh, that is a
there
thing.
are laws against it. When we're in the Supreme Court, we're going to fix this.
Sure. And it is funny that you bring up that one all the time, because that is the one where you pull the sword out and like the lava or the rocks or something. That's the one that's always there. Or the stupid one where it's like there's somebody pointing guns at shooting bullets at like a bunch of people running at them, and you have to shoot through the 3 times, 5 times, 10 times. And it's
or it's like if you go left, you get coins. If you go right, you get guns, and it's like you keep picking whatever you want to do. Yeah,
but like that's made by like 400 different people, and it's like these people are making bank because people either click on them by mistake, and that counts as a click for them, or they fall for it, get addicted, and they're paying real money. In this case, $50.
Well, that was Steve. Joe is spending more,
which is wild to me. But like, I don't think I've ever. Have you ever? You've played multiple games where it's like you have to do some pay to win if you want to do well. Have you ever, like, let's say Pokemon Go, for example?
I wouldn't. Well, be careful using the phrase "pay to win" because that's a very specific.
Oh, okay. Microtransaction
games with microtransactions, sure.
But like a Pokemon Go, did you ever put money into that, like real money?
The only 2 mobile games of this ilk that I really ever played in some way were Pokemon Go and Marvel Snap.
Okay.
Both of which I definitely spent some money on. Some of it was like, we have the Google credits that you sometimes can get.
Right.
So I would do that a lot, but I would estimate over the course of my life. I mean, I played Marvel Snap for a year or less.
Right.
In terms of actual money that I put into it, probably less than $30 or something. Like nothing crazy. Where the majority of people. The thing with these games, there's like 1% of the user base known as whales, right? Which are those are the folks who are spending hundreds of dollars. Sometimes on a daily basis,
right. Eating meatball subs.
And they pay for everyone else who's doing it for free. That's
makes
how
sense.
These games operate. There's no, you'd think it's like, oh, this guy pays a little bit, that guy pays a little bit. No, it's one guy who's just
attached.
Either rich or terrible with money,
right,
or both, or just taking out loans. He's just in debt.
Right.
Or this is just what he does. He doesn't like go to concerts. He doesn't travel. His paychecks go to this game,
Right.
That's the thing. And it is, people, we don't need to tell people don't like these games. People don't like this kind of thing, but a lot of people play them. I don't know what the process is of you see the fake ad, you download the game, and don't you go, hey, this isn't what they told me it was, but
Right.
you're like, I guess I might as well try it. Like,
Well, that's the thing with me. Like, sure, I've fallen for these ads a few times because, like I said, it's like, oh, this seems like something where it's like it's a simple thing. I don't need to pay to play some of these
advertising
games.
works on you.
But it'll be like, okay, let me click it. It's fun. It's whatever. But it'll usually be like a lot of these like basic puzzle games that usually get me, where it's like, match the colors to this, like the brain off, going to bed kind of games. But I would never, like, minus Pokemon Go. I think that might be the only one I've ever really paid for things. But like you said, I paid for it in free money, if you will. Like Google money or, ad supported stuff, like watch a video, get some change from Google. And yeah, maybe like $20 towards Pokemon Go. But that was over like a 2-year span, some of which was during pandemic, which was like, if I'm not spending this money,
I'm
in
the bucket. They don't care about you.
Right. Because when it comes to like spending more than that, I can go to Steam. I can go to GameStop. And you can pick up a game for $20. You can pick up a game for, they're saying $50 for some of this. And I would rather, me personally, either not play an ad-supported game. Like I was saying, like I have a few Tetris things on my phone where it's like, okay, every other round you have like 2 minutes of ads. I'll just delete those because it's just annoying. They want you to pay to get rid of the ads, but though it doesn't even always get rid of ads. I would rather do like a new game came out not so long ago, Codenames, which is a board game, but now it's a mobile game on your phone, mobile, and you pay a one-time fee of $5 or whatever, depending on your region, and there's no ads, there's no microtransactions, there's nothing. Like they have not asked me for money in that game once.
Right. Yeah,
and
there's no way to do it.
I like that. Because, like, sure, they could be like, hey, do you want new skins for your cards? Do you want the Simpsons deck for your cards? Pay an extra $2, $3, $4. I can see them doing that, but they haven't. Because they set a decent price. Sure, for a mobile game, I think it is a little high for what I would spend. But it's a quality tested game that is closed. That is not, you're not getting, that price point's also keeping out some people, and you're getting people who actually want to play the game rather than like abandoning the game, which happens with a lot of like, there was a word game we used to play back, like Words with Friends or something like that.
That's still around.
But like people kind of like abandoned that because it was free. So it was like, you didn't have to pay to get in. So it was like, oh, I don't have a commitment into it. Where it's like, if you're paying up front for a game, I feel like you have more commitment to said game.
Yeah, I mean, you're preaching to the choir. I much prefer, there's a reason I don't play these kinds of games.
Right.
They are often huge time commitments, and they usually, they're designed psychologically to get you to pay more money to them.
Right. Kind of like a casino. Like they're kind of built by the same people who do slot machines and stuff like that to keep you in your seat paying for hours,
Which isn't to say, like the two that I said, Pokemon Go and Marvel Snap, I think are two of the best examples of the more friendlier versions of that kind of thing.
And you necessarily didn't have to pay to play those at all. Like Pokemon Go, you didn't really, like, it was just because I was impatient.
I'm sure that's true of Homescapes as well. There are people who play it for free, I'm sure. Right. But if you want to, I don't even know. To be honest, I don't even know what you buy. It's probably you can only play so many rounds in a day.
Or you have to unlock. What a lot of these games are, it's like, oh, you can clean the bathroom. I think it's like kind of like a Sims kind of game. Once every hour, and every hour you get 20 gold. But if you do it twice in an hour, you have to pay, and then you get double the gold. Like it's like that kind of like thing.
Yeah, it was confusing looking. If you Google Homescapes and look at screenshots, it looks like The Sims. It's like you have a house that you decorate. But I think all of that is just like during your puzzle game. Oh, I got a statue. It goes in my house. Like I don't
just
think
a different
there's
skin.
It's just bullshit that's like padding that makes it look more interesting than it is. And supposedly there's also like a visual novel element where in between matches of Bejeweled, there's a storyline you get to read. I don't know. But hey, I get it. This is a thing. Certain types of people are more what's the word,
Prone?
prone, sure, that works, prone to falling to this kind of behavior than others, and it is a sinister thing. Like it's
Right.
a very often a gross thing, especially with games like this where, I mean, if you just even look up this game, it just looks skeezy. Like it just
It
looks like
looks
a
skeezy. It looks
cheap,
kind of, yeah, not
gross.
well made. I don't think any of the characters in the game like physically move. I think it's like 1 frame per minute. Like it's like kind of, that kind of thing where it's like a visual story where it's like we're just kind of slowly moving. Now, were you, even if like it depends on the game, are you a mobile game person at all? Like, yeah, we talked about code names and stuff, but like they did have like some heavier games that came out on mobile. Is that your cup of tea, or would you rather just either TV or Switch,
Yeah,
PC? I guess.
I will never. I think it's just of a certain generation.
Right.
Uh, there's no anything heavier than Scrabble.
Right.
I like a mobile game for me is a time waster.
Yeah.
It's in between stuff that I'm doing. I'm in line for something. If I'm gonna play a game, I'm gonna sit down at my TV or my computer and play a game.
Right.
I don't want to be looking at this, holding this rectangle.
Now, the only thing that I
Sucks.
like, my Danny has on his phone, he emulates like Pokemon games, or he finds Pokemon games online, which is
Legally,
kind
of
of like,
course.
oh yeah, 100% legally. He already owned the physical
He
copies of them,
owns the physical
right?
cartridges. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like, that kind of works because it's a Game Boy.
Even
Like it's the same
that, I
screen.
mean, I can see it, but there's just something about I mean, there are attachments you can get for phones that are like
Right.
controllers and stuff, but a lot of those games, I need a button, or I need a certain kind of screen, or I just want something that isn't connected to the internet that
Right.
won't tell me I have a text in the middle of the game.
Well, that's the other thing too. It's a disconnect for me. Like
Hmm.
going to gaming is kind of like turning off that world. Because like,
Hmm.
yeah, you're on a phone or even a computer sometimes. You can get messages. People can call you. Oh, let me check my emails. Let me do whatever. Or if I turn on the PS5, that's off. I'm turned off. Even like I could see why people enjoy VR for that, because you're physically in
Yeah,
that world. It's
that's the
literally
best.
turning off everything.
You cannot look
Um,
at your phone.
right. You're literally there, unless you like see through it, but that's different.
Yeah,
Now,
you can look at your phone.
I do find it interesting that people have, there have been laws, there have been in studies and whatever about people getting upset about TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that, about influencing youth and wasting time from kids and whatever,
Roblox.
but never
That's
these games.
well,
Never like,
yeah. Well, I don't know if it's Roblox is for
oh,
kids. It's
yeah,
Roblox and Fortnite. Those are the two games that
right.
are
But I
their
guess they're
microtransaction
on
games.
phones, right?
Oh yeah. Oh
They
yeah.
both, okay,
Totally. Because kids love to play games on phones.
or tablets or whatever.
They have
Right.
no qualms about it whatsoever. Yeah, or a tablet. Because yeah, all these ones that we're talking about, like you said, I think really are geared towards older people.
Right.
Maybe some of them kids get caught up
Catch
into.
the
I'm sure it
kids. But
happens.
a lot of them from the ones I've played aren't like entertaining enough, I think, to keep a kid's attention for that long.
Right. Yeah. This game is not fun enough for kids. For
Right.
adults, we have a lower barometer for fun. We don't need it to be
Like I
not
even
too
tried a
much
few
fun.
times. Like I think somebody in my family played like a Bejeweled or a Candy Crush or any of those. I tried, but I'm like I can't. I like after 10 minutes I'm like I'm done. I did it. I see what okay, done.
My mom plays Candy Crush now. It's just it's garbage. It's
Right.
garbage. It's
And like I even was playing it once, and if you take more than 30 seconds, they play your turn for you. And I'm like, that's not. So I can just
it's
watch a
like,
video.
I mean, it's just, it's there's a Rick and Morty where Jerry has a game on his phone that's just popping balloons, and that's it. You just like
You just pop.
hit the
It's
balloons.
right.
That's the game.
Well,
It's games
it's a
for
fidget
idiots.
spinner.
Right.
It's a fidget spinner
It's
on your
like for a
phone.
baby. I want to see bright colors
Right.
spinning, and Bejeweled isn't even, or Candy Crush isn't even like, I mean, I don't know about Homescapes, but at least a match 3 puzzle game is at some level a game. Like there's
Well, it's
a
also,
structure there that existed before
and I guess
mobile
technically
devices.
it's making your brain look for
No,
stuff. It's very,
no,
no?
no.
Okay. All right. All
Don't give
right.
it that credit.
But see,
That
then,
is
but
not.
I'm the opposite, where it's like if I want to waste time like that, I'll pull up. I have either like a kind of a Wordle
I'll
thing,
read Dostoevsky.
or I'll do a crossword puzzle. That like
Sure, yeah,
the New
yeah.
York Times has the crossword minis, which takes a few minutes. Like you're sitting there in
I'll
a
play
car.
Minesweeper.
That does that still come
Minesweeper,
free with
yeah.
computers?
No. Have you tried to play Minesweeper on Windows lately? Because I haven't. It sucks.
Does it really?
Yeah, well, first of all, you have to download it from the store. It's not
It's not
pre-installed,
included.
not
Okay.
included anymore, and it's ads everywhere. 30 seconds you have to pay.
Really?
And it's like, and it's also like it looks like shit. Like it's
They
very
tried to modernize it.
yeah. They tried to modernize it. Like everything's colorful. And there's
Hmm.
adventure mode and there's
Nope.
challenge mode and like pay to try this challenge an extra time or pay to undo your last click every. It's garbage.
No,
It's
I
complete
guess
garbage. They
boil.
ruined it.
I was thinking about that as you were talking about that. Like boiling it down to what we used to play as kids. That there were some like we didn't have smart enough cell phones back in the day to play these games. So we had like Pocket
Snake.
Tanks, Snake, Pocket Tanks, Icy Tower. Like there were some like time wasty games that we had on our PCs.
They were free. You could just download them.
Well, they were free, but I think they probably had spyware.
Well, that may be true.
Bonzi Buddy, that
You know
kind
what?
of.
If I don't have to see an ad, bring back spyware. I
True.
mean,
Actually,
now it's both.
still there. Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, we didn't get rid of spyware. Now you just have spyware and ads.
You just have
They
to
were like,
accept
wait a minute,
cookies. That's
we can be sneaky and just be annoying. We
Right.
don't have to. We don't have to choose. Yeah, it sucks. What? So, I mean, in this case,
right.
we're talking about there's kind of two issues here, I think.
Mhm.
One is, should Steve kick Joe out of his house, and two, is it Steve's fault that Joe's there in the first place? I guess they're kind of they're
So,
sort of linked, but
They are linked because
if you think Steve's responsible for Joe, then maybe you think he should keep him in his house or help him.
but then so Steve was, I guess you could say, addicted to this
He
game
was
as
the
well.
pusher. Yeah.
He was, and so by
Have you
by
ever tried
Steve,
cracks, Joe? I've been really liking this crack thing lately.
so Steve got Joe to sign up for this game. Did Steve get a little something for signing him up? Like, did
I
he
don't
get
think
game
so.
hours? 'Cause I know some of these games are like, hey, have 3 friends sign up and we'll give you free 20 minutes of ad-free coin bouncing. That sounds like something these games would have. I
Yeah,
don't know.
he says he just recommended it because Joe wanted game recommendations. That was it.
Okay. First off, get rid of this friend. If they recommended this game to you and you're spending money on it, just kick them to the curb. Well, I guess you're go to the curb.
Steve has a family.
Yeah,
He has a wife and a son.
and we found that out later on in the case, and I'm like, oh, this is bad. So, have you ever been addicted to a game that you know of? Have you ever had like a game where it's like, I need to personally step away from this because I know I've been playing for too long?
I mean, this is the line of, it's addiction can be a tricky thing to define,
Yes.
especially when it's a psychological addiction, not a biological addiction. Although
Right.
I don't know, maybe you'd argue your
They
brain
go hand in
chemicals.
hand and whatever.
Like I said, I don't know. I'm a judge. I'm not a scientist.
Wait, hold on.
Or a psychiatrist.
You're not?
Not yet. I'm getting my
Okay.
degree in a few days.
Okay,
My science degree.
in psychology.
So yeah, I would not say my life has never been negatively impacted. I have never like, I don't even know, I've never hit a rock bottom. I've never missed a day of school or work or something because I was playing a game. I've never blown off a friend because I was playing a game.
Wait, what? You never?
I never blown a friend because I was playing a game.
Oh, well, that's how you get more coins.
Like, I think to me, that's the line. Like, staying up until 6 a.m. playing a game when you're in high school or something, or even when you're an adult, as long as the line is, well, did you continue to function in society? Did it affect
your daily
life? Did you not
life?
shower? Did you not eat? Did you not go to work or whatever the thing is? Did your girlfriend or boyfriend leave you because you kept playing the game and wouldn't stop? Like I've never
mean, the
crossed
answer
those
to all of
lines.
those for you is yes. But
Yeah.
no, but like, you've never like, okay, let's say I've been playing this game for a couple of hours. It came out. Then you
Right.
do go out. Is that like, have you ever had a game where it's like, oh, I'm just thinking about that game? Like, oh, I need to get home to that game.
Sure, but
So that's borderline.
I don't. That's just because then you could say that about so many things. Like, are you addicted to football if you really love playing football all the time?
Well, that's right. No, I get that.
Like, where do you, where do
I
you
would
call
say
it?
the only game that like ever kind of did that to me was like, but like barely, was when Minecraft first came out. Very like, so like what, 17, 18 years ago at this point, or maybe 20, like they might have crossed the threshold. Don't tell me these answers. I will just end my life here on the video.
Yeah, that might be 20 years.
It is. So that first like week, I don't know. It was probably during the summer. I don't think I was in any classes or anything. I definitely like stayed up well past like a 24-hour mark that first time I played that game.
With like 24 hours straight playing that game without
Getting
sleeping?
like, yeah, without sleeping. That was the first time I ever played. Like that was like I was
Yeah, you might have a
addicted
problem, sir.
to that game. But that was the last time I've done that. I was in high school. It was new. It was the new craze. Maybe college, whatever. But like, but other than that, like, did I wake up or did I take a nap and go to work and then eat dinner? Yeah. Did I step away to go to the bathroom? Sure. It wasn't like those South Park episodes,
Right.
of World of Warcraft back in the day.
Yeah,
But yeah, like,
played a lot of Harvest Moon 64 back in the day. Stardew Valley can be addicting.
but like,
But I say addicting in the sense, not in the, like in the, in the casual use of the
right.
word.
Like I stopped playing the game because I got bored of it. It wasn't like, or like, because I was like,
Yeah.
all right.
But I think that's to me, and I'm sure there are some cases where, beforehand, maybe there were a minority of people who legitimately were addicted to games like this. But I feel like it's the introduction of money, like constant, that you can spend money all the time. B, it never ends. Even an open, even like The Sims or something. Eventually, you see it all.
Right.
I mean, maybe not anymore, but
or it just stops becoming fun. Like that's the other thing too.
Yeah, right. And C, it's on your phone in your pocket all the time.
Right.
And those three things, mainly the money, like that's introducing being able to buy more stuff and improve your standing. That's what actually makes it dangerous. Like
that's what adds it up to like gambling.
Right. If you buy a $50 video game, even if you play it like all the time, but you never spend any more money on it, yeah, it could negatively affect your life, but that can only go so far. You really have to be the one who's making that be bad.
No, and I get that. Right.
Like not eating and sleeping.
Now,
but, if you're paying money, you could just blow
but
it all
it's
in
also
the weekend.
too, like I do count, like if you're addicted, even if you buy a game, like if you're constantly playing it and blowing off people under a bridge, that's a different, but or like family functions, or like, oh, I'm supposed to watch, he has a child and a kid, you want me to watch the kid, I'm supposed to put the kid in the crib and continue playing League of Legends, or whatever game that is, or like I'm ignoring my wife, my husband, yes, but mistress. I do agree with you that, well, you never ignore your mistress, that I do agree with you that like the second you start putting more money into it, that is a little bit more of addiction than the baseline addiction, I would think.
It's certainly skyrocketing the odds that someone will have an unhealthy relationship with your product.
Right.
It's
and I do think that did start happening. I don't know an exact date of what first game did it, whatever, but like I would say that was more so with mobile games that this started to.
You said Farmville before. Also.
Yeah, I guess any game I would say any game that you technically don't have to like download, like you can get away playing it on a phone. Like really, like I guess World of Warcraft and those types of games, there are some like Destiny, there are some pay things to them, but not really to make the game any better. It's like, oh, I want to pay to get a new cloak, or I want to pay to get a new weapon, but that's not necessarily doing any harm if you don't do that.
Does Destiny have microtransactions? I don't even know.
No idea.
I feel like it doesn't.
It doesn't.
I don't think.
Well, I don't know
you
if it's
can.
microtransactions, but I think you could like buy skins and stuff. But I don't know
Well,
if you count
yeah,
that.
I think that's a microtransaction.
Okay.
Does it have microtransactions? Uh, I don't. I think you pay for new expansions and stuff, but I don't think you can buy like. I don't think they have skins or I
Huh.
don't know. Maybe unless maybe you can. I don't know. I'm talking out my ass. I
Right.
don't play this game. We have one viewer who will know exactly and wishes he could talk right now, but he
Right.
can't. Wait, hold on. No, maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe it does have microtransactions, and 100% they are in there.
Well,
I
yeah,
guess
no, that makes sense because Destiny is a free to play game now, isn't it?
store items. Yes, it is. But like I said, I think you pay for the new like expansions or raids or whatever that come out each season.
Okay. So I'm sure, but for them to make a game like that
Hmm.
free to play, there has to be something
Yeah,
feeding.
I guess this is just, because I think about Fortnite and I feel like people are constantly talking about the skins and stuff.
And the new dances and stuff like that.
And
But
Destiny just feels like a more, for lack of a better word, legitimate. It feels like more people are playing
right.
it. For
Well, it's like the same thing
gameplay.
with World of Warcraft, where it's like you don't need to, but if you want to level up your character quicker, you can pay in-game gold, which you buy out of game, but you don't necessarily need to do that.
Yeah.
And I feel like Destiny might be the same way. Don't know.
Yeah, there's
but there are-
microtransactions. There sure are.
Okay.
There sure are.
There is a game, it's a free-to-play game that I kind of got not addicted to, but I played a lot for a while. It was on PlayStation 5. It's where you play soccer with cars.
Rocket League.
Rocket League was kind of that same thing where it's like the game was just as fun without having to buy anything. Like I was okay with the stock car because what do I care what car I'm driving in? And the game itself was still 100% fun, 100% playable. You just had the option to buy these things. Sure, people did want to buy, I want to make my car have a different horn or, have colorful things coming out of the back.
Yeah.
But I feel like a game like the one we're talking about today are almost made unplayable in a sense if you don't pay them. Like, yeah, you want to be able to get to X amount of rounds per day, but if you don't pay, it could take you days rather than minutes. So that's where I think that's the issue.
Companies have gotten very good. They've gotten much better at understanding what makes people want to spend money.
Right.
And that's the other big change from traditional video games is, sure, you play a video game that you buy for $50 and it's designed to be fun.
Right.
And to have you keep coming back to it. But these games are like they do research on what color button do people most want to click.
Right.
What's the exact little chime that we play that when you'll dream about at night when you hear that thing, your brain.
Or they'll see something that's popular in the game that was free. Oh, we said that was limited time. We're going to take that away and make you pay 99 cents for it.
Yeah, they have all these schemes, all these things.
And the other issues too is you can't just buy the one thing. Oh, well, it comes in a pack. That pack costs this amount of money. We don't take real currency. You have to buy the in-game currency. But to buy this one button, it's more than one transaction of currency. Then you have extra currency that you want to spend and give us more money for. So it's like an endless transaction of back and forth because they hired psychology people to know how we're going to get these people's money. Just like if you go to Atlantic City, Vegas, or whatever, this slot machine, it's $1.50 per play. You put in $3 or $4. Well, you're going to have some extra money. Why don't you add a little bit more money to that to get us one more play,
Yeah.
And this has been something that's been going on for eons, like even before gaming was a thing, because casinos have always tricked people like this. But, there's a certain crowd of people that get tricked, and it's, it can happen to anybody. Oh, well.
Dumbasses.
But yeah, so Steve told Joe about this game.
He recommended it to him. He said it's fun. I like it. You play it.
I've recommended a lot of things to a lot of people. I have a YouTube channel where I do it quite often. And, would it be like, is an influencer, let's just break down at a grand scheme of things, is an advertiser of whatever, should an advertiser get in trouble for advertising something and you get addicted to it? Hey,
yeah,
I advertised Coca-Cola and now you have diabetes because you couldn't stop drinking it. Is it Coke's fault?
Well, in this case, there's Coke, and then there's the person. Then there's someone who says, "Hey, you should try Coke," and we're talking about the drink still right now, right?
Yeah, Coca-Cola.
Right. It's not. Yeah, there's two different. Because again, I'm sure there are plenty of people. It's not like everyone who plays Homescapes is in debt or lost their job.
Right. Or is putting in even $50, which I know that was the minimum of what they were saying in this case.
90% of the player base of this game does not have this kind of relationship with the game. If not more than that.
Right.
Vast majority. So I do, I am not a person who likes these kinds of mobile games. I think they're trashy and bad, and I would not want to be recommended one, nor would I recommend one to someone else.
Well, because we like stuff with substance. And I feel like a lot of these games
we like the substance.
Are purely made to not have substance to them.
But, there's people who like them.
Right.
It's fine if you play it in a healthy way and you're not losing your job over it. It's whatever. Right. Whatever you have fun with. It doesn't hurt me. It's fine. Do whatever you want. So I do not think it's, unless Steve knew prior that Joe had some kind of addictive personality, he had a gambling problem or a drug problem or something, which he doesn't say he did, then it's not, then I understand not assuming or being like, hey, it's not his responsibility to say, by the way, this game you can spend money on, don't spend all your money.
Right.
It's like, hey, you told me that Walmart was a good store. Well, I went there and now I'm in debt because I bought everything they had.
Right.
Well, I mean,
hey, Jonathan, I told you pie is good. And you went out and you ate every pie there ever was. And now you're,
Yeah, I died because I ate too much pie.
Have you tried pie? It's good. Okay, I'm going to try every pie. Yeah, right. So it's like, if Steve knew Joe had a problem of any kind, really, if he was addicted to gambling, addicted to whatever.
A bitch.
Maybe, yeah, I'm addicted to female dogs all the time. You go to the dog track, you bet on a bitch or two.
Because he might have, I don't know how many problems he has. 97,
99.
98. Okay.
99.
Yeah.
But female dogs ain't one.
Mm-mm.
They're cute. Have you ever seen a dog? They're cute. They're fuzzy. I'm sure there's people addicted to dogs. So yeah, I honestly boiling it down, the issue between, I don't think, whatever. But so then the second, third, fourth, fifth part of this is kicking him out of his house.
Right. How long does Steve put up with, is it wrong? What we're ultimately judging him for, I think, is it wrong for him to kick Joe out?
Now, I would say boil this down a little bit more. Like, this guy, Joe, is couch surfing or whatever they called it in the thing.
Yeah, well, he's on one couch.
Right.
Is it, I guess that's still surfing, couch surfing.
You're also just staying over, whatever. How long is, did they say how long Joe has been staying?
It sounds like about 6 months.
6 months, even if you weren't addicted to a game that I told you to play
right.
or whatever, is a long time in general.
Without, I don't know if he's looking for a new job or if he says he is, but it seems like he's just sitting there playing a game.
6 months is a long time for the average person. 6 months is even longer when there's a child and a wife involved.
Yeah.
Like if you two are two single guys, two single people,
wild and crazy.
The living room's not used by a child to watch Cocomelon. There's maybe fine. Stay on your couch until you find a place. Sure, but the second there's a person that you're living with involved, either roommates, wife, son, whatever. Like there's somebody that it's also sharing your residence. That's a problem. Like, hey, maybe for a week. Stay here for a week if we have the space, fine. but you also have to help with some of the house stuff too. And it sounds like there's no money or time in Joe's life to be doing this. So even without the game, it just sounds like it's problematic. And 6 months is a little overwhelming your stay.
It's overwhelming.
Overstaying your welcome.
First time you were right.
Overwhelming your stay. Got it. So yeah, I think I'm ready. Are you?
Walk right into it. Yeah, you're there.
Steve. Gotta pick up the gavel. So Steve, I don't think has any issues by introducing him to this game. Sure, Steve knew that he was addicted to this game, but maybe Steve thought, oh, maybe that's just my personality. I don't think anybody else will get as wild as I am. Maybe Steve has an addictive personality to begin with. So I really don't think, Steve is guilty of introducing a game to somebody. Like I said before, you can introduce anybody to anything. You don't know how that person's going to take it. And also assuming that we didn't have any other addictions, Joe, that didn't have any other addictions. Now, is he guilty of kicking him out of his house? No, not in the slightest, because there's a child and a kid and there's a wife. He's a family. Leave. Go. Or give him hey, listen, I'll give you a week to go find somewhere else so you're not just living in the street. So do I think of Steve? Steve's not guilty in any count. No count is Steve guilty.
Wow.
Gavel's been thrown down. I dropped the gavel.
It's very nice.
Thank you.
The difference between Steve and Joe is that Steve stopped playing when he couldn't afford it anymore. He, from our view, we might say, oh, he was addicted to the game. He was spending way more money on it than we ever would. But he, it sounds like, had a job, had money. It's what he enjoyed. He had fun with it. He paid for it. The same way that some people spend $50 a week on a new video game or a new board game or just going to concerts or whatever. Whatever your hobby is, this was his hobby. As stupid as we might think it is, it sounds like he operated it in a relatively healthy way. And when he didn't have enough money to spend anymore, he stopped. And Joe did not have that ability for whatever reason. Right. It's not Joe's fault. I don't blame Joe for becoming addicted to this game. I think it's the creators of the game who are the monsters here. But I also don't think it's Steve's fault for telling him about it, because you can't just assume that this might happen to someone. You will probably assume, hey, you're an adult, you'll understand the nature of video games and money. And yeah, I agree. 6 months, unless it's family. And even then,
right.
6 months.
This is an Olive Garden.
6 months is a long time to be staying somewhere, with seemingly no attempt to get out of it. And not even, and originally just saying, hey, it's only going to be a few days. So it's not even like he didn't agree to these months. The guy's got to go get help or something somehow. Steve should try to help him, but he doesn't have to house him.
That's what I was going to bring up too. Hey, if you sorry to be stepping in your area, but
just shut up for a second. Not guilty.
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah, if he thinks, if you think anybody is addicted to something, before you kick them out, call someone, see if they actually need help. There are hotlines and stuff like that. Reach out and help somebody if you think they're addicted, but you can't stay there forever. So if Joe had cheese that wasn't his, whose cheese would it be?
Nacho cheese.
Thank you. You said that, and it was you said not Joe's, and I'm like,
I don't get it.
You mentioned nacho cheese, not Joe's cheese. So Joe doesn't have any cheese in the house because he's not supporting.
Joe didn't produce the milk that made that cheese.
Right, so it's not Joe's cheese.
Have you ever tried some of my cheese?
Yeah, it tastes weird. Mm-hmm. There was a hair in it.
Yeah, that's part of it. Mm. Well, I said moments ago I do not blame Joe for anything.
Because not Joe's fault.
And yet, by the laws of our own show, if we've declared Steve not guilty, I think that does mean we need to punish Joe.
Oh, shit.
And I don't think we can get out of that. I think we have to sentence him.
By state and federal law. We have
Yes. And it has to be to the fullest extent of the law.
Yeah.
No holds barred.
Yeah.
Worst punishment we can think of. Something really bad that will really fuck him up even
Yep.
more than he already is.
Yep. He has to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
Those casinos.
He's got to switch from Homescapes to heroin. Just one time.
To Magic the Gathering.
He must do. We'll put him in a room with one heroin needle.
Right, and
needle?
one Homescapes.
Is it a needle for heroin?
I truthfully have no idea.
Okay, or is that the one where you heat up a spoon? What's that? Is that crack and then you smoke it?
No. Yeah, heroin. You heat up on a spoon and then you inject it.
But then it's a needle. You don't smoke
think
what's on
so.
the spoon.
Well, you probably can if you're desperate enough.
I don't know what you do.
You eat
I
it.
don't know.
You eat one heroin, please.
Yeah, you put him in a room with one deck of magic cards, a slot machine, and a heroin needle, and you just leave him in there for a day.
Right.
And when he comes out, he can live his
Well,
life.
you say when.
He might not come out.
Right.
He might not come out.
Have you ever tried to get a Magic the Gathering person out of a room?
And also put a gun in there with one bullet.
Or no bullets and see what happens.
Huh. No, I don't. Then nothing would happen.
Oh, to freak him
What's
out
he
some
gonna do?
more.
Make a bullet? Yeah, I know. I want him to have the opportunity to end his life.
Okay. Oh, right.
Did it get too dark?
A little bit.
Well, what are you gonna do? It's the new regime.
So the new Vagine?
Come on. I do wonder if our viewers and listeners have opinions about this case. Maybe their verdicts differ. They could let us know. There's comments if you're watching on YouTube, or you can email us, geeksontrial@gmail.com. You can also send us your own geeky case if you'd like it to be tried and heard right here on the show. Check it out. There's a form. There's a link to a form in the episode description.
And if you want to give us some of those microtransactions, you can head over to Patreon, patreon.com/geeksontrial. You gain early access to this show and our audio and video and audio episodes and stuff like that. Plus, you gain just access to Geeks on Trial Sidebar. That's a fun show that we do over there behind the Patreon wall. And hey, Jonathan, when you're not addicted to games, I don't know what you're porn. What are you doing on the internet?
Can't kick this air habit. Oh, I love sucking it in. You can find me over at my website, jonathanestis.com, or, Blue Sky's hopping these days. Everyone's migrating over to Blue Sky, at Quentz on Blue Sky. Check me out and find all my stuff over at those places. How about you?
Same general places. You can find me at jonathanestis.com, and that's where I'll be posting all of my new stuff. No, ivanhan.com is where you can find me. Blue Sky is at ivanhan, and youtube.com/thesnackguy, where I put out shorts, longs, and in-betweens about reviewing snacks and things like that.
Is that the first time you ever said that?
I think, and I like it. Shorts,
longs, and in-betweens.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really...
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Some of my episodes are long, some are short, some are in between.
And then you said something else about you review snacks and things like that. Like it had a rhythm
like
to
that.
it.
I've been trying.
You better rewatch that clip and use that from now on, because
forever.
I think that's your thing.
From now on, I'll just clip it and I'll just move my mouth and have it just play over my mouth. I just knocked something over.
Well, that's not the first time this episode.
Nope. But until next time, I'm Ivan Hahn.
Hey, I'm Jonathan Estes. Don't forget to vote. And this case is closed. Close it. Nope, close it. It's closed.